Oh, hi everybody. We're back again. And as you can see, same old green room. Same old Mel. Right. Nothing in the room changes. And everything with me changes all the time. Okay, I have another one here. And this is something that I wanted to do for a couple of months. It's been on the list, and I haven't really put any effort into doing any videos the last little while, as some of you may have noticed. Excuse me. And the original title that I had down here was Twin Flames, Keeping It Simple, Stupid. And then I decided to leave out the stupid part. I'm applying that to me, of course, and not to you, lovely people out there. I wouldn't do that. I just edited it down to Twin Flames, Keeping It Simple. And the way I'm going to start off this video is, if any of you have noticed in our lead-in, thanks to our very fine new video editor that we have, you will hear the 4 words, very much enhanced: navigate, communicate, negotiate, and compromise. Unfortunately, one of the things that I've noticed, and I might say that this can apply to any kind of relationship, not just twin flames. For those who might make that comment on the comments thing, this can apply to any kind of relationship. Those 4 words, bar everything else, bar any instruction, bar any teacher, any coach, any life coach, any marriage counselor, any guru, any twin flame expert, is the secret to all relationships. Period. And the point that I want to emphasize here is, if you don't know how to do this, learn. If you can't do it on your own, get a hold of me, get a hold of Nicole. We've been doing this for 20 years. And this is how we work our union. Not our twin flame relationship. We're not a twin flame relationship. Again, I'm emphasizing the difference here. We're in a twin flame union. A twin flame union is a very powerful, explosive experience, initially in the beginning, until the two learn how to do exactly that. And this process can take a very long time for some of you. Why? I'm going to tell you why. Whenever Nicole and I have come across a set of twin flames, twin flame union, or a couple in a twin flame relationship, and they're having problems, and this is where the mass confusion lies, in Facebook groups, twin flame forums, and relationship forums of any type or gender or whatever else they can formulate today. The problem comes into play is when you have these intense connections and variations along the line, is every one of you, without exception, and I've seen this so many times it's almost boring, you all try to put together this intense soul-to-soul twin flame union, twin flame relationship, soulmate, divine partnership. What do you all do? You all try to put it together based on your previous relationship experience. You all do it, and you work at it and work at it. You get more frustrated. He runs, she runs. You can't figure out what's going on. Emotionally, the both of you get upset. You evoke a lot of stress in each other. You've lost the ability to be able to communicate. Even being intimate with each other has lost its touch because the both of you are in panic mode. You're going to be overwhelmed. You're going to be overrun. You're going to be controlled. You have no idea what's going on. And I have to say that the men are the worst of the two at this. Guys, do not do twin flame union, twin flame relationships, soulmate connections, divine partnerships, etc., 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 because of the intensity of the energy. They have no input, basically no knowledge, and very few of them, I can emphasize, are you going to find them going up on the internet, popping into a twin flame group or some other forum looking for information. Hopefully, I can get to a few through the videos that I'm putting up. But again, to go back and re-emphasize this point, if you're trying to put this together based on your previous relationship experience, and I'm going to define your previous relationship experience for you all, so you understand what's happening and what has happened. We have now moved from the old definition of the emotional experience of love, and even if you agree with me, that's fine, or disagree with me, that's fine, I don't care, because that's all we ever had on this planet. Occasionally, very rare, did we have this spiritual aspect of love, relationship, and sexuality on this planet. It was very rare. So what happens is, as now the greater number of people are beginning to awaken, for example, twin flame unions, they're still basically only a handful, a few hundred, a few thousand perhaps. When it comes to twin flame relationships, now there's millions of them taking place. In the old days, as I mentioned before, they were simply called soulmates. Now they're just enlivened and fired up soulmates calling themselves twin flames, and that's okay. But everyone needs to understand that what has happened is the reason they're not coming together in any format is because you're trying to work it from your previous experience. Even if you don't have any experience with relationship, you're still going to experience a great deal of difficulty. And some might say, well, intuitively I know what to do. Bullshit. No one knows intuitively, more or less, prior to heart center awakening, what they need to do. Because once the connection gets established and you make the initial connection with somebody, the first thing that goes out the window is any kind of intuitive connection you had with yourself or your higher self, because you're in the obsession. You're in the twin flame union, or you're in the twin flame relationship, and everything goes right out the window. And the only thing that you're going to react with is what you've been programmed with from previous relationship experience, because it's automatic. You will automatically respond to the other person in exactly the program that you've been brainwashed with or cloned with, whatever verb or adjective you want to use in that particular perspective, and it won't work. And it won't work because and I'm going to repeat this again 2 or 3 times during this video, what we have previously experienced on this planet consisted of the emotional experience of love, which is basically experiencing love as we understood it by our definition through the solar plexus chakra. This spiritual or soul-to-soul connection between another, defined as twin flame unions, twin flame relationships, divine partnerships, soulmates, blah, 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 etc., etc., etc. So we cover everybody so nobody gets their nose out of joint or their panties in a knot because I left somebody out in that particular situation. And what's happened is, in that love at the emotional level, we all have lots of experience with us. Some of us have been running around for most of our adult life with one relationship after another, which consists of the emotional aspect of it. So when this comes along, this is exactly what happens. This is why when you go in Facebook or you go in some of the spiritual groups or a lot of the twin flame groups, you will hear all kinds of problems. You will hear whining and pining. And all it is is old relationship template and experiencing, rearing its ugly head and manifesting. Now, the thing is this is going to be a continuing pattern until that old template or that old energetic template has been released from the person's etheric body and the triggers have been released from the emotional body. I hope you heard me on that point. Now, a lot of you people are not going to understand what I'm talking about, and that's okay. That's fine. But in the meantime, you need to grasp the concept. You need to grasp the concept that what you've previously experienced prior to heart center activation was the emotional experience of relationship, love, and sexuality. So you need to listen to what I'm saying. In order for you to be able to make that transition, once you've awakened heart center, you're still going to be experiencing dealing with the connection through the emotional templates and belief system that you need. So you're going to have to change your focus. So this is what I'm going to propose to you. You, whomever you are going to have to do this. And if you don't know how to do it, I will teach you and lead you through it to the very best of my ability. And I can assure you all of something, I know what the hell I'm doing, and I'm good at it. So, communicate, navigate, negotiate, compromise. How do you do that? Well, the first thing that you need to do, and I've told this to many people in regards to doing a reading for them, John has told it to them, and I have told it to them in counseling, is you need to sit down, take a break, back up, slow down, and you need to reassess the situation. If you've been having difficulty, it's not working, you're frustrated, you're stressed, you're bummed out, sit down, shut up, and listen to what I'm going to say. Because what I'm going to say is important. Communicate, negotiate, navigate, compromise. The secret to all relationship. And at this point, because of the intensity of the connections that are taking place, and because the difference is going on, you need to see what you're not doing correctly. And what you're doing is, as I mentioned it 3 times already, I'm going to mention it one more time, is you're still trying to work these high vibrational intense connections, labeled whatever, by your old programming and past experience of relationships. And I see this all the time on YouTube. I even see twin flames, a couple of them authentic, a couple of them not really sure where they're coming from yet, but all they're talking about is their experiences. And all they're doing is regurgitating their experiences, supposedly for the benefit of other people, which are of no help at all. So when you sit down and you listen to what I'm saying, you need to get this thought in your mind. This thought. This thought. I, or we, have something really unique and special here. Be this a twin flame union, a twin flame relationship, a divine partnership, etc., 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 a soulmate, etc., etc., etc. Whatever kind of connection it is, it has been given to you because you've done enough work to activate the Kundalini energy and activate the heart center in yourself. Your personality is beginning to grow, evolve, and change. And some of your belief systems are beginning to fall by the wayside. And you are now listening. You're listening. Before you were doing a lot of this, yapping, regurgitating all of your problems, issues, and what he's not doing or what she's not doing or what the both of you are doing, what's not working. You need to learn to talk about what can work and does work. And the very first thing that you need to do is to sit down and realize you have something very special here. So you need to get back to simplicity. You need to get back to the art of simplicity and communicate, navigate, negotiate, and compromise. Stop trying to intellectually work your way through something 95% of you haven't even got a grasp of understanding as of yet. And that's not an insult. That's only by what I see in a majority of people who are in these high vibrational connections. So once you realize that you're in something very unique, that you've actually made some progress, you've done some work, you have been, I'll use the word blessed with this connection, then to simplify it, you have to appreciate the value of what you've been giving and realize something else, and this is very important. In most cases, excuse me, all of these connections have been arranged by coincidences, synchronicities, numbers, names. I have heard thousands upon thousands of comments from people who said all of these things started happening. And the synchronicities, the coincidences, I'd be there and he'd be there, or she'd be there and I am there. The bus turned around and there they were. And they go on and on and on and on. And what is the first thing all of you do, every mother, son, one of you, do? After all these synchronicities, you read them all over the place, you put them up on websites, you go with them for hundreds. What is the thing that every one of you do automatically once the two of you come together? And the bubble love phase begins, and it begins to come down from its vibration. You forget all about that something, that power, that source, whatever label you want to call it, that arranged all those mother synchronicities to bring you together in the first place. You forget all about it, and you go right back to your old template of experience of relationships, and you get into the control, the agendas, the expectation. And I find females are worse than this for males. They have been so brainwashed with relationships, a big majority, not all of you, but a big number of you are so brainwashed with the traditional relationship and its old concepts, belief systems, expectations, agendas, and how it should go and how you think it should go. And he's probably saying he wants it to go his way or this way and that way. And suddenly the confusion starts, and then you go, and all of a sudden this great opportunity for a really, really special relationship goes right out the window. Does this make any sense? Does this sound familiar to a lot of you? Because I hear this stuff every day, 7 days a week. I go in Facebook, I go in, and I hear it all the time. I'm a member in 23 different Facebook twin flame groups, and I hear the same gibberish every day. And you don't listen. All you want to do is gobbledygook about what's not working. So I'm going to tell you what is the way to work, and then listen to what I'm saying. And if you can't figure it out on your own, then get a hold of me. You can call me arrogant, cocky, whatever you want, but I'm confident. I've been doing this for 20 years with Nicole, and we know what we're doing. Others say they know what they're doing. We know what we're doing. So now, sit down, simplify, take a look at all of the stuff that's not working. Say to yourself, this is a blessing. Get a hold of the other person. Whatever combination it may be, I don't care. And say to the other person, look, and I don't care how many battles you've had, how many times you've run away from each other, who's done what or wrong. Let it all go. Start fresh, clean the slate, let's give it another kick at the can and go at it this way. What's the first thing you have to learn how to do? The very first thing, communicate. The biggest problem that I have seen with so many twin flames in all of the definitions is they don't know how to talk to each other. They don't know how to communicate. What they do is they're very biased based on their old templates of relationships and their experiences on both sides of the fence. They've had unsuccessful relationships, bad marriages, or somebody dumped them, or somebody took advantage of them. So they have all of these expectations that come in. So what happens is the communication gets lost in all of the hurts and the bang-yangs and the what happened in the past. So you need to retool and simplify and learn how to communicate. And a good way to do this is to do it this way. Keep it simple, this way. Say to the other person, even if you haven't had a chance to say it for a while, even if you haven't talked for 6 months, even if he's pissed off at you or you're pissed off at him, send him an email, send him a letter, send her an email or a letter, a telephone call, whatever way you want to do it. Doesn't matter how much time has passed. Anything is fixable if you've got the right tools and the right person to help you. Now, get a hold of the other person. Tell them this. We've got something special going on here. Some kind of magical energy or chemistry between the two of us. Irregardless of what's happened in the past, let's respect that connection. Let's put it in these terms. Let's just be best friends. Let's just be best friends. No expectations, no agendas, no, I think this is the way it should go, or no, this is what my twin flame coach has told me that I should do, or anything else. No expectations at all. That's going to be very difficult for some of you when you do this. Because ladies, you have a big problem in this area. You have lots of expectations when it comes to relationships, much more so than men do. Unfortunately, I have to say that. You may not like it. And if I get a few nasty comments, I can live with it. All right? Because ladies, you are a bit worse at it than men are. Men, you're a lot worse at a lot of other things, but I won't get into them just yet. I'll save that for a little later on. Now, if you're talking to a person and you've made this statement, then you're going to be just best friends. What you're doing is, first of all, you've eliminated all of the stress, all of the agendas, and all of the expectations between the two of you. This in itself is going to stretch some of you and your belief systems, because you're going to want to defend those belief systems as a form of protectionism, and you're going to want to be escaping into your defense mode to protect your old belief system. So both of you will do this, but you've simplified it. You have now set up a line of communication that is not riddled with emotional triggers. Communicate. All right? Now, the next one that I'm going to use here, and they're not necessarily going to be in the order that I have them on the YouTube site, is negotiate. Very few of you know how to negotiate the lid off of a jar of pickles, to be quite honest with you. You're very good at talking, you're very good at giving your opinion, and you're very good at expressing your feelings. Very few of you know how to negotiate. And what I mean by negotiate is when you see a situation beginning to come up in regards to your relationship or the energetic connection between the two of you, you need to understand something. The energy between the two of you is constantly going to be generated. It's either going to be very positive and spiritual in its format, which is the natural way it should be because it's a spiritual connection, or it's going to degenerate to the emotional, the solar plexus center, or the old emotional template of love, relationship, and sexuality, and you're going to degenerate it that way. So as soon as you see anything coming up from you or the other one, you need to start negotiating, and you need to be aware of what's going on, and you need to address the situation before it gets out of hand. When you negotiate, you're looking all the time at the connection between the two of you as an opportunity. You're not looking at it and reacting it like it's a pure sex brawl. And you're going to have to learn to do something. In every one of these words that I'm using, communicate, negotiate, navigate, and compromise, you're going to have to learn how to do all four of these things through the emotional body, the mental body, and you're going to have to get it up in the heart center. Now, what do I mean by the emotional body and the mental body? Again, your experiences with love and relationship have been experienced in the previous, and for the majority of the population, in the emotional experience of love. The spiritual experience of love is from the heart center. So you've got to get it and retrain your emotional body and your mental body. Now, when I talk about the mental body, what I'm talking about is the mental body in combination with the imagination. You can get into your head in these connections, and you can start seeing things and creating things that are not even there. So you have to learn to start communicating and navigating not only with the other person, but you have to start learning how to communicate and navigate with yourself. Now, I'm going to say this, and a lot of you are not going to like it, but the biggest problem that we're having right now, especially in these high velocity relationships, is we have a lot of people who think that they are mature adults. What I'm finding out, and a lot of you are finding out, that in many cases when you get involved in these high vibrational connections, what I see is two people acting like 15-year-old teenagers in their first phase of puppy love and having little temper tantrums when it's not going their way. That's not the way that adults are supposed to be. And if you're in a twin flame union or a twin flame relationship or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, you have to learn how to communicate with yourself, the other person, and you have to learn how to navigate what is being expressed through you, never mind the other person. Because when you start navigating through what you're going through mentally and emotionally, and you see where your reactions are coming from, when you see where your reactions are coming from, then you can do something. You're starting to see. You're starting to have some vision. All right? So when you communicate and you negotiate in this way, you're going to begin to solve some problems for you. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about here is I don't want to go too long in this video here. I want to keep it short. Not short. Me, a short video? You got to be kidding. Okay, is compromise. And I find here that in a lot of cases when it comes to these high vibrational connections, compromising goes right out the window. Again, this is where templating comes into play. So many of you said, well, he did this and he did this, or she did that and she did this. And, well, based on that fact, it's his turn or it's her turn. Well, now they've got to come to me because I did what I'm supposed to do. All right. Well, again, that sounds to me like a couple of 14-year-old teenagers with their first phase of puppy love, and they might be 40 or 50 years old or in their 20s or 30s, and they're still acting like mature kids, immature kids. This is the part and parcel of what's happening. And I'm going to say this, hopefully I do it the right way. Too many people who are evolving and waking up are finding out relatively quickly in these intense connections just how immature they actually are, which is a positive thing, which is a very positive thing. Because as a species, we're not going to be allowed to go into higher vibration of relationship, dragging all of that old baggage and shit with us. And a lot of that baggage and shit originates out of some of the twin flame groups, which keep perpetuating the same old stuff. So we're going to have to learn to navigate and compromise also in getting out of it. Now, the situation is as such that when you compromise with another person, it means you're willing to let go. And I'm not saying you have to bend over and kiss anybody's backside or anything like that. But you have to understand that you're both potentially moving up. That anything that's happening to you is for the purpose of getting rid of these old templates, and it can be expressed. And again, I emphasize, in a lot of cases, a lot of you need help. because from what I can see, and again, I'm going to sound like I'm being bold or arrogant, whatever, the information that I see being presented by some of these so-called quote and unquote, how they got titled twin flame experts, is really not worth the powder to blow it to hell. All most of them have been doing is regurgitating the same old material, and I even see now that some are actually using video titles that I've done 5 and 6 years ago, and they're simply redoing them, all right, which is not giving any information that's viable. And when you get into the compromise situation with an individual, you have to maintain your stability, keep your vibration as much as possible in the heart center chakra. You're not going to do it all the time. You're actually going to fall back. But the more you do it, this is actually work with these high vibrational relationships. This is not going to be easy for a period of time until we make that transition where we've let go in physical reality of the old concept of relationship. I've been saying this for years, and I'm going to repeat it again in this video. We are going to let go of our old concept of love, relationship, and sexuality in all forms to get to these new ones at a higher vibrational level. And by the time you do that, you're going to earn the relationship that you're in. And if you don't earn it with the first one that you're in, you're going to get another chance at it. You're going to attract to yourself, as I previously mentioned, another person who can do this for you. So the compromise thing is something that you need to do. You also need to learn to make deals with yourself and compromise with yourself. It is not required that you be perfect. It's only required that you be reasonably close to understanding that you need to learn to navigate, compromise, negotiate. What's the other one? Even I forgot it now. And communicate. These are all things that you need to do. Now, I didn't get into all of the words here because I've already taken up 30 minutes of time here. But I want to emphasize this. Again, as I repeat, we're all going to go through this, and you're all going to experience it to the intense degree. And you're going to have all of the things that are going to get in the way, your belief systems, your old expectations of relationship, and you're going to have to use those 4 words that I just mentioned here, navigate, communicate, negotiate, and compromise, as the key words. These are the secret of success to twin flame unions, to twin flame relationships, and I'm good at unraveling people who think they're very intelligent at this, and I'm very good at unraveling them and getting rid of those old templates from the emotional body and from the mental, but more specifically from the etheric body. So in that note, without going any further, because I could go on for another 2 hours on this video here and explain, people tell me I give too much stuff away for free, but that's the nature of the beast, and I'm the beast, so to speak. But anyway, if you require help and you can handle me, and you're not interested in being pampered or cajoled, and you're going to hear it right up front and right from the hip, I'm your guy, or Nicole's your girl, whatever. You know where to find us. And I enjoyed doing this video. Heart Center is still going bananas here all day, so this should be a very intense video for some of you. Have a great one, everyone.